So I was in jail once, and I was trying to figure out the meaning of really what I was doing in life and like what everybody else was doing in life, and just trying to make sense more or less out of the chaos that led me into jail. And so I was thinking, and I was praying, and I was thinking about this, and I had this idea, and like I wrote it in a poem form, but I don't know where the poem is, so I figured I'd explain it to you. I had this idea that there were these people, and they were working in a field, all together, like a wheat field, and they all were, working harmoniously, and they were happy. But in the middle of, the day, this big light burst out from the center of the earth. It was like a pillar of light, and as soon as people looked at it, their minds were filled with a seductive fantasy, whatever it may be, individualized to each individual that, seduced them, and they put their fruitful labor aside and they ran over top of each other trying to get to this light. I think when I wrote it, it was like, they ran, greedily and with, howls, of lust as they, ran towards, this light. And they didn't care about each other. They became indifferent to everybody else as they raced towards this light. So, anywho, this light, when they first seen it, their minds were filled with a fantasy. And I wrote that inside of this light there was a dragon sitting on a golden throne in which he ruled the kingdoms of earth. And from this throne, beneath the throne, ignorance like oil was oozing from beneath it. So it was keeping people ignorant. So they couldn't see him inside this light. And so this the dragon within the light, I wrote that armed with silver flutes and cleverly composed compositions of seductive rhythm, the beast sent his sorcerers forth. So imagine in this side of that pillar of light, there's this dragon sitting on his golden throne, and around him is encircled by sorcerers with silver flutes, with cleverly composed compositions of seductive rhythm. So each playing his silver flute, and then each one, hypnotizing, its subsection of humanity. Some might be it playing a song like the Pied Piper, who leads people in with, say, money, or one that leads people in with the promise of wealth or beauty, or a certain job in life or a certain status. So so people, is they're being both audibly, visually, hypnotized, like say by like the television and like popular media. So the thing is that when they run towards this light and when they finally reach it, their bodies are burned up, consumed, and the smoke goes up from their burnt bodies. Ashes lie on the ground, and the smoke goes up like prayers unheard. And their after they die, their souls are cast into the outer darkness around it, watching this play out as their loved ones repeat the same folly, racing towards these illusions, greedily, with indifference to their fellow man as they try to reach this light. So in the darkness, their loved ones are in chains, and they're screaming and yelling and jumping up and down or whatever, trying to wake up their loved ones as they're making the same mistakes they made. But nobody can hear or see them. So it's like the whole of humanity, um, you know, racing towards this light, and it's being, they're being burned up, and they're being consumed by their greed or whatever their fancy is. They're not, it. You're not into the fruitful labors or whatever God has prepared for them. So the idea is that some of us, while we recognize that the world and ourselves were both going towards these same aspirations, these lights, these dreams, these illusions, we recognize it when we stop. And the idea is the Bible says when you put on the full armor of God, that you are to stand in that evil day. So just to be able to stand against the whole world pressing against you, trying to get trying to reach this light, if you could just stand and you could try to wake people up on the way there. But people are going to get mad at you. People are going to try to press past you. They're not going to want to hear you because remember, they're caught up by the illusion. So when you try to destroy that illusion, you're like, look, hey man, that's an illusion. It's going to destroy you. It's going to consume you. People get mad. They don't want to hear that because they see everybody else chasing an illusion too. So when you're standing against the press, when you're not doing like everybody else is doing, you're making yourself a target, for people to be angry at, for people to be upset with. And, and people just don't understand why you're not going in the same way they're going in the same direction. And yeah, the idea is just to be able to at least stand in that, in that evil day. And that, you definitely don't want to end up like the people, who are consumed by that, who, when they finally reach their dream or their whatever it is they think they want, and, they die in that reality without, accepting the grace message, then, they're screwed. It's like when, Lazarus, when, the rich man of Lazarus, when the rich man asked, if Lazarus would just dip his finger in some water that, he could cool his tongue. He said, there's a gulf fixed, it's set that one can't go from one place to another. And that's what it was like when I was understanding it, was like for the people who were in the outer darkness. They can't go from one place to another, but they can watch the whole thing play out just like it played out in their lives. And it's devastating and it's sad. So, I don't know. I was thinking about that. I had AI create this little picture, and, let me know what you think. Is everybody chasing a mirage? Is it an illusion? Is it consuming them? Is it hard to stand against the press? So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good day.